Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show. Today's a real cool one. I want to start out with a big congratulations to UConn men's basketball, San Diego State, great season. UConn, congrats on the win. The LSU women, you can't see them, baby. Today, very special guest, pro wrestler, entertainer, actor, musician, Mr. Enzo Amore. Enzo, how are you?
Formerly known as, currently known as real1. You know, Hulk Hogan will always be Terry Bollea. Terry Bollea will always be Hulk Hogan, and I'll always be Enzo Amore. So thanks for the love. Hope everybody who's a wrestling fan that watches the show got to enjoy WrestleMania this weekend. I was out there signing autographs. It was a spectacular thing out there in LA, SoFi. The whole town riddled with wrestling stuff and just, all over the place. Everywhere you look, there was a banner in the street. It's just so crazy to see the evolution of pro wrestling, WWE partnering with UFC. It's kind of a crazy time to be a pro wrestler. A lot of products out there to watch. I'm presently a free agent, as you mentioned, making music and acting. But first and foremost, I'm here to talk football. So get me out of the way, bro. That's enough.
Well, we got to talk. How LA had to be crazy? It's crazy when we saw the Super Bowl there last year, and it was incredible. But to see WrestleMania take Hollywood, that had to be really cool. What was it like? What was the pulse out there?
A lot of people excited, man. A lot of people drawn to the city when there's 170,000 seats in the arena filled up. I can only imagine a lot of traffic that came in and out. I got to be honest, I flew, a red eye out of there while WrestleMania was on TV. So I wanted to
That's the way to do it.
all the traffic I could. But I had a spectacular time out there seeing fans. Shout out to the WWE for throwing such an incredible event. And for all the wrestlers who get to eat off that plate thereafter, like me.
Man, I always wondered, when you're in a stadium, you put a ring in a stadium, it's tough enough sometimes at sports events to see from the nosebleeds. You put the squared circle in the middle of a stadium, that's got to be so damn tough to see from the crowd. What do you think it's like for the fan experience?
The fan experience is unbelievable. It has less to do about the match in the middle of the ring and more to do about the giant screens all over the place and all the fans everywhere losing their mind reacting to the show. The energy is unmatched and unparalleled, so they do a great job with that.
I'm right now sitting in Miami. I'm seeing the palm trees, the ocean in front of me, man. It is a beautiful sight here too. And this whole merger thing, right? The UFC and WWE. What do you think that's going to look like? Because I'm thinking about it and saying, well, damn, that could be the perfect retirement path for a lot of the UFC fighters, and it could be the perfect, personality training, teaching these guys the pageantry for the UFC guys.
1,000,000%. I think they scored tenfold. I think that wrestling is evolving in ways that people will never understand, and the WWE is going to be a place where you can wrestle all over the world and earn your stripes and get there, that way. But I think that you're going to see a process whereby you're going to have a lot of crossover with NFL, with just the biggest stars in the world, whether that be actors, musicians, YouTube, and it is its own art. So it's not something that without passion you can just pick up. But there's going to be the NCAA NIL program. And there's going to be a growth, I think, within that company that allows for them to put out a product that has actual stars that are not just stars in wrestling, but stars in general. As someone that when you see walking down the street, you go, oh, that guy's a star. Maybe I don't know who that is, but I know what a star when I see one. And, I think that you're going to see that in, like you said, the UFC, the transition from UFC to WWE is probably going to be obviously a lot more, prevalent now. But these people that are going to be able to transition, they're only going to be able to do it if they get it. And wrestling, sometimes people just don't get it. And that goes for your aunt, your uncle, your sister, your cousin. Like some people look at you like, you're a wrestling fan? You watch that shit, But at the end of the day, wrestling is for kids. It's for families to come together. It's for a great time to suspend your disbelief. And, I share that one thing in common with all the wrestling fans, that I'm one too,
Well, I mean, it's cool. It's been cool to see guys like, you see Pat McAfee getting involved. You see, Logan Paul did a fantastic job, man. He was a high flyer and all that at WrestleMania.
Yeah, like I said, on a biggest stage, the biggest stars can show a presence there, and it's a great feeling when you're out there performing in front of a crowd of that magnitude, and it's really unmatched. So there's only one stage to do it, and that really is WrestleMania. So congratulations to all the people that have felt that luster, like Bad Bunny, Logan Paul, as you mentioned.
Oh, right, Bad Bunny. Bad Bunny was embarrassing, kind of seeing him wrestling.
You got that secondhand embarrassment, eh?
Man, that was weird. I was watching. I'm like, what's going on with this guy? So what would be the ultimate right now? I mean, let's say, well, I guess we can't call Aaron Rodgers the Jets quarterback, right? Because they don't really have a quarterback right now. But
I saw that, Gronkowski did WrestleMania when I was there at WrestleMania 33.
Right.
We just saw George Kittle do it.
That was awesome.
So, I think that, it's like I said, you only do this thing if you have passion, because at that point, you're making millions of dollars if you're George Kittle or Gronkowski. We saw Adam Pac-Man Jones leave the NFL in that brief time period. He had a run in Impact Wrestling.
Right.
So, and there's been professional hockey players that have recently shown up on AEW, and Chris Jericho's father was a professional hockey player.
No kidding.
Yeah, man. And then you got Tony Khan, who owns the Jacksonville Jaguars, his father at least. And then, that natural partnership with the NFL that exists in AEW as well, because of the amount of time that they're in Jacksonville using that stadium during COVID to shoot their product when we couldn't have television product that was out there with the fans in the crowd. They had their own arena because the guy's dad owned the Jaguars. So wow. It's an interesting time to be a pro wrestler, and I'm a big fan of football, and New York football at that. And I'm hoping to get Aaron Rodgers, as you mentioned, and Odell Beckham Jr. back in town.
Ladies and gentlemen, the real one's a Jersey boy. So, I mean, really, this is like just a Jersey guy's conversation, because what school did you play ball for?
I played in high school. I played football, basketball, baseball. I was, I was first team all league. You know what I'm saying? All county, all North Jersey. Played in the state all-star game, and I was Jason Sehorn. I was a white cornerback. I know we got a kid coming out of Iowa this year named Riley Moss, who's a white cornerback, the rarest breed of them all.
That is a rare breed.
I knew that the odds were stacked against me going in. I knew I wasn't going to the NFL. Enjoyed my time at Salisbury University. Brian Westbrook's brother, formerly of the Washington Redskins, played college football with me at Salisbury University.
No kidding.
Made it to the league, bro. Shout out Byron. 7 years for the Skins. That's a hell of a run. But, like I said, I had no chance of playing in the NFL. Knew that. Had my way with Victor Cruz in high school, though. Went viral on YouTube for that endeavor and got a tryout in the WWE based off of that. Week the Giants were going to the Super Bowl. I did a video in, I think, my mother's basement where I showed my high school highlight reel, and I was making fun of Victor Cruz because I put a 70-yard touchdown on his ass. I German suplexed him in the backfield on a screenplay, swam move the wide receiver. It was back when we were running VHS tapes, so the tape still was running, but we converted it to DVD back then.
Holy shit, we got the
Chapo over your head, bro.
I'll tell you what. Hold on, guys. I'm going to show you this on camera. There's a fucking helicopter.
You must be in a hotbed right now out there in Miami, bro.
You know what? I'll tell you what. To all the real ones listening, there's a chopper right now overhead. You know what it's doing? It's taking one of those industrial... I'm on a
Charlie
roof.
Boots.
They're coming for me, man. They're coming for me.
I couldn't hear you. I heard them coming for you, bro. You got to hit mute on your end.
Well,
be a pro. Act like you've been there before.
I'm telling you, they got this. They're taking an industrial air conditioning vent right now, and they're dropping it on a roof of the skyscraper next to me.
Charlie, I can't hear a word you're saying.
Jesus,
You got
this is
He's
crazy.
he's here. I hear Jesus. He's with us all. I know that. Hey,
This is real bullshit. But anyway,
bro, let's talk about the day that is coming upon us with Aaron Rodgers coming to the New York Jets and OBJ potentially joining him. I'm excited about New York football. We got Danny Jones under contract, Bobby Okereke, who came in from Indianapolis. I know that the Giants also made a move, got Bobby McCain from Washington, played some time in Miami. And that guy, I believe, is a stud who's going to play that nickel position for us. And I also I don't know. Maybe you could inform me. Are we bringing Landon Collins or Jalen Smith back?
would love to see Jalen Smith brought back because he is an absolute dog. But you know what? Are you really excited about Daniel Jones, or did you get into a weird long-term relationship now?
That's what everybody's thinking, bro. But you got to remember one thing, okay? I'm a real New York Giant football fan. And when I was in that stadium in 2006 6 or 7, wait, we won that Super Bowl in 07, right?
Yes.
So it was 06 season. I was in the seats, and I got to tell you, look, don't quote me on this because I was hammered drunk, but I believe it was the Carolina Panthers, and I'm 95% sure about that. Eli Manning in a home game threw 6 interceptions in one game, or 5 or 6. And bro, I was outside of that stadium right after the game because I watched all the way through. And I was lighting that jersey on fire when an old man and I almost came to fisticuffs because he was like, "That guy's our quarterback, you scumbag. You got to have his back." And I'm like, fuck Eli Manning. He sucks. 5 interceptions. Dude, we go on to win a Super Bowl. Okay? And not just that, 2 of them. So when you ask me about Danny Jones, I say, man, I've seen ups and I've seen downs, and I'm got his back all the way through into the day he's not wearing a New York Football Giants jersey. So I'm here to support Danny and any other football player that's got a blue jersey on, man. I love the pickup of Bobby Okereke. I think that kid's going to be a star here in New York. I'm interested in seeing what jersey number he wears. I know that we signed Paris Campbell from Indianapolis, and he's wearing that 0. And number 12 being donned by Darren Waller. What the hell, dude? I'm sorry, man, but
it's
if Aaron
weird.
Rodgers takes 12 off the rafters,
I don't like that. I don't like Broadway Joe's number going on anybody else. I don't think anybody else should wear 12 for the Jets.
I hate it, and I like them wearing 8 in college at Cal. You know, if he wears 8, maybe there's a little rivalry there. Who's wearing the better 8 this year in New York? You know, who's the better 8? You know, but don't do me like that, man. And plus, did they trade Elijah Moore? I believe they did, and I believe he wore number 8, so that's available. It'll be interesting to see. Maybe Aaron goes back to his college number. Sauce is already wearing 1. Maybe he rips that 2 right off of fucking Zach Wilson's back. Yeah, I'm sorry for the F-bomb there, but yeah.
That would be bold. That would be great.
That would be bold, great, and a story that the headlines would eat up. So Aaron likes making headlines. I would love to see it, but I really don't want to see him take that 12. I'd hate to see it. And you know, I think it's about time that when is 10 going into the Raptors and the Giants? Obviously, nobody's wearing that, but I think that there's a few Ring of Honor guys that need to be brought into the fray in New York. And can I list off a few of them for you that I believe?
We would love to hear them.
I need to see that number 80 in the rafters, okay? I don't want to see Richie James wearing it, but here's the unique part about number 80. We're not retiring it based off of one man's career. We're going to combine Jeremy Shockey and Victor Cruz, and we're going to put both names up under that 80 in the rafters. Nobody else wears it.
That's a bit of a stretch. I mean, we're talking Shockey and Cruz. I don't know about the 80, but who else do we got?
Well, you don't love that? Shockey and Cruz, thank you both for what you've done here. 80 is done. 2 great guys wore it. Nobody else should be wearing that.
I love them both, and I love that Cruz was a Patterson guy. where they also shout out to Patterson, where you might hear choppers like this.
Shocky's an all-time giant. So is Victor. Don't say they're not. They're both beloved in the stadium. You go to the stadium, there's still so many people wearing number 80 Cruz, number 80 Shockey jerseys, including myself. When I go to a game, I usually wear a Shockey jersey.
Okay, then do you retire Rodney Hampton if you're going to retire them?
Absolutely not. Rodney Hampton never won a Super Bowl. Victor Cruz did.
Okay.
Jeremy Shockey is the most beloved giant of his era. So there you have two players combine their careers, and now we're looking at a number that has a Super Bowl ring in it. We got to get rid of it.
All right, who else we got?
I think there's other candidates like Justin Tuck and O.C. Umenyiora as well. All-time giant.
I like Tuck. I like the Tuck call.
I think, and here's my guy that I think 1,000,000% needs to go down as a New York Giant lifer. Nobody else should be wearing that number 66 jersey anymore. Dave Deal.
I'll sign that. I will definitely sign that.
And you know why nobody should wear that? Because Dave Deal for 10 years for no other team was a New York Giant. And when he was called upon, drafted as a guard, he was called upon. He played center, guard, but more importantly, when he was called upon, he protected Eli's blind side, became a left tackle when they asked him to do it. And he had a 10-year run with the New York Football Giants with 2 Super Bowl rings. Who the fuck else along that line did that? I think maybe Snee just had some dudes on there that put their hand in the ground and nose in the dirt, and I love them. Yeah, man, I'm really excited about this year. Did we bring back Isaiah Hodgins? I believe we did, right?
Yes, he's coming back to New York.
So we're looking at Isaiah Hodgins, Darren Waller, Daniel Bellinger, who I loved last year.
Waller is going to be great for you guys, by the way. I'm a big Raiders guy, and Waller's a stud.
Yeah, he is. I wish he would not have worn number 12. We got to bury him for that. 12, dude, is TB12 and Aaron Rodgers and Joe Namath. Like, it's just a number, man. It's been played out. You know what? But that's for me to say. But I'm such a huge 21 guy that makes me not like 12.
I don't like this helicopter's what I don't like, and this makes me feel like the Jets. This could be a sign that the Jets are going to be New York's team this year.
It's an exciting time to be a New York football fan, and I'll be at the stadium on Sundays, and I don't care who's playing football there because there's a team to root for here across the board, man. I'm a Jets, Giants, Yankees, Mets, Knicks, Nets, Rangers, Devils. I love them all, man. What's not to love? You get to go to – so you mean to tell me that when I go to Devils or Rangers games, okay, or I go to a Giants game or a Jets game, that there's not fans there that love pro wrestling, that see me and they're like, Enzo, and or staff or opportunities in Tennessee for the Titans to, get on the field after the game and things like that. It's like, I have a kinship with anybody who goes out there and plays a professional sport at that level. I admire it. And I hate to say that I've been to the dance, but I've performed in front of large crowds, and the institutions that are giant NCAA colleges and stuff like that. I played D3 football. I didn't play in these giant Alabama stadiums and all these stadiums that these NFL guys get to play in. I'm a fan of sports, so I'm a fan of going and check out stadiums, going to a Gators game or going to see the Razorbacks or going to see, in Alabama in the Crimson Tide and Notre Dame and South Bend and visiting these places. I've been to Ohio State and had the luxury of working out at their football facilities at least 10 times in my life. And I love seeing how it happens at the highest level, and I have such admiration for the people that do it at that level.
Well, you are the one, you are the real one, and I'll tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, if there was a battery made for a human being and the real one was for sale, that's the battery I'm buying because he's always charged. So I got to ask you about this.
Oh, I got to give you credit now. You just gave me an idea for a T-shirt.
Oh, yeah?
I got to do an Energizer bunny, like a pink bunny coming up. It's Easter, and I kind of have it modeled like me with the big battery in its ass.
Not in the ass, by the ass, folks.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah.
So-
That's exactly right.
So this company in Sweden, they just announced they're going to be building a highway that actually has electronic car chargers built into the road, so electric vehicles will never need to recharge driving the highways in Sweden. They'll charge as they drive.
Bro, remember when it used to be you sit down at a restaurant, you talk to a human and you ask them what you want, they screw your order up and they come back for you. You know what I mean? Like, we're in the future. It's already happened. We're well into it.
They got this one restaurant right now, the menu is VR. They put the menu on the table and it 3D shows you like a 3D chicken parm on the table, and you keep swiping through till you get what you want.
I'm telling you, they've been holding back for a long time. I saw Tupac on stage with Snoop Dogg like 20 years ago. When was that? He was already dead.
Right, Coachella.
Yeah, Coachella, he shows up, and now all of a sudden we never see him again. What happened to that technology? All of a sudden now it turned into chicken parms at the table. We see what you did there.
No, you're right. What did happen to that technology? Like, why haven't we seen Andre the Giant come back out at WrestleMania?
No, you're going to see Andre the Giant in the octagon now versus
Whoa.
Conor McGregor.
Conor McGregor hanging on Andre's head.
Yeah, he got big. He's a heavyweight now. He's ready for him.
How about Conor getting all yoked up? What do you think he's doing?
Bro, whatever he's doing, it's working, and I'm happy for him.
Right,
you know, like I'm a huge Conor fan, man, and it's funny because I was in the WWE and Vince McMahon literally called me into an office and told me he wanted me to tweet at Conor McGregor. And
he wanted you to start a beef?
Yeah, and I did. And I started a beef with Conor, and I went to Conor McGregor versus Floyd Mayweather. And I was there, and I sat in the I was like 20 rows back. I was sitting directly in front of Ari Gold from Entourage. Calling him out, I had the Cruiserweight title, and Conor obviously wasn't interested in fighting in the WWE, or that would have probably happened by now. But yeah, they were lining me up to either get my ass kicked by him in a split second on Raw or fight for that damn Cruiserweight title at WrestleMania. I have no idea, you know? Like, I would imagine that's a transition we're going to see at one of these WrestleManias coming up, right? If everybody and their uncle wants to see Logan Paul fight Conor McGregor, well, now they can do it at a WrestleMania as a wrestling match. And I think people would be highly entertained by that as well.
Yeah, and I think that the UFC could learn a lot from Vince in regard to selling pay-per-views, you know, and even because a lot of these celebrity boxing matches, that's where they have trouble. They build the buzz online, but then they don't sell the pay-per-views at the rate you'd expect.
I think that Vince created a model, though, that is probably going to be used by the UFC when it comes to making pay-per-views and a network. Like the WWE made the WWE network, and then here we are. We have our entire UFC library on one place, and now all of a sudden we put it on Peacock, or we put it on ESPN Plus, or we put it on Disney, and you'd be able to go in and watch every single UFC that ever happened, just like you can go now and watch every WrestleMania that ever happened.
Yeah, that is very cool.
And it'll probably be in one place. It'll probably be Endeavor's library of UFC, WWE, WCW, you know, all the MMA library and all the fight that you could ever want in one place. I would imagine that's on the forefront. You got to remember Vince is a visionary. And, you know, I've seen things coming from a million miles away. I mean, that's the only way that you really get to the dance is being able to, you know, be a Zengeist of sorts, right? You know, it's as simple as marketing on the mechanism of what a wrestler is wearing when he goes to the ring. And, and that's a bite on culture as well. You know what I mean?
Which I think is something that UFC suffers with because these guys can't embrace their own personality. I hate that they got to come out with these Reebok uniforms. And I think that that's something that would be great. I don't know what Reebok's paying them, but I'd imagine it's not as much as they could make if they would let these guys really flourish into their own personalities.
Well, Reebok should personally allow anybody who's fighting in the UFC to design the trunks that they want to wear.
I mean, absolutely.
Because if you're a fan of the fighter, and you know you want to support him, or, you know, you're a fan of UFC and you're watching the show and you go, oh, those ones that guy's wearing are cool. You know, that they put a little flash on the screen with a QR code, and they tell you, hey, the trunks that so-and-so's wearing are designed by They're designed by him, and if you like them, you could buy them right now.
Absolutely. I mean, we got athletes. I mean, you're a prime example of athletes being more than an athlete. We're in this generation now where athletes are thinking about art. They're thinking about design. They're thinking about what they're putting on their body, and they want to embrace their uniqueness. And I mean, that's a big miss, but hopefully that's one of the cool things that comes out of this partnership. Now, do you worry about this? I saw on Bovada, you could actually this year, you could bet on Wrestlemania, which is kind of wild to me, right? That you could bet on pro wrestling. Now, do you think that this relationship could make people start to think about UFC and start to think about the determination of how these fights turn out?
1,000,000%. There's going to be a place, dude. Look, they're going to be able to get a regulation in Vegas, I'm sure, or some offshore account, or in the Bahamas, and you know, like, and you can do it on your phone. But there's going to be somebody out there who lets you bet on wrestling.
No, it's out. No, Bovada did it this year. Wrestlemania, you could bet on.
This year, you could bet on Wrestlemania.
Yeah,
for a fact?
For a fact. I placed some bets.
Oh my God!
Insane.
I would have made a lot of money, wouldn't I?
Well, that's what I'm saying.
How does it work? How does it work?
Same as if you were setting a parlay, man. Like they literally had.
So if you work for the company, or you're smart to the business like I am, can you still bet? Is there regulations? Like if I'm the sister of the person who's wrestling, and that person is losing, and I know that.
That's what I'm saying. And you think, Jesus, guys, if you think that some of the pro athletes, you don't know what their entourages include. You don't know what the entourages of pro wrestlers include. You don't know you know what I mean? Like, that information's it's crazy to me that they're actually accepting bets. Not only bets, but you could place parlays. Like literally, they had the whole match card, and just like you're betting on Sunday football, bong bong bong, multipliers, all this stuff, the same way as sports.
I'll tell you what, if you know, I'm watching a card and it's got 8 matches or 16, just by me watching the match, by the time by the time they get through their entrances, I'll probably be able to tell you who's winning or who's losing. And
by the way they enter.
I mean, it's me. You know what I mean? Like, I've been to the dance, and you know, even if I watch some storylines leading up to the match, I'd be able to tell you who's going to win or who's going to lose, probably. You know, I'm just talking about, like, if I went 8 for 10, I would probably go 8 for 10. You know,
wow.
So I'd make my money. No matter what.
Wow,
that's fun. That's crazy. Me and you are going to start this whole brand new. You can bet on gambling and wrestling. Charlie and Zoe are opening a book. Everybody come fucking sign up.
Guys, you got to always trust Jersey guys when we're talking about gambling. You know what was always cool to me, man, is realizing our little state of Jersey, how many stars it's produced, how many athletes. But then you look at wrestling. You got who led all sales for WWE, one of the biggest companies in the world, led merchandise sales because your personality and your charisma is off the charts, and you're one of the best in the game. We got Diamond Dallas Page, who not only started wrestling in his mid-30s, but now is making millions off his charisma, still with his yoga program. Bam Bam Bigelow. Jersey has produced a lot of guys that did big things in wrestling.
Yeah, now me and you found our new calling. We're going to open a book, and you can bet on wrestling there. With Zoe, I'm going to be what was that old aficionado who used to sit there and
Jimmy the Greek?
Yeah, and so the Italian.
Sportsbook, ladies and gentlemen, we're bringing it to you.
I love it, bro. I love it.
Zoe, thank you so much for taking the time.
Hey, before I go, I really want to say this because you're a Raiders fan, right?
Right.
All right. Who do you want? Do you want Anthony Richardson or Will Levis, or do you think you're moving around? Do you think you're going to take that 3 from Arizona? Do you think they're moving up?
I think the Raiders are going to move up. I think they're going to take either that defensive end, or I think they're going to take a quarterback. Let them learn under Jimmy G for a year or two, and we got to go young. Raiders got to go young. The Derek Carr thing.
I would love to see Anthony Richardson in black and silver. It would be amazing, because I think he'd be great to sit under Jimmy G for a year or two. From what I hear, I don't know that he's ready for a pro style offense. But then again, he's such a sick athlete, you might not be able to keep him off the field. I mean, look at what Lamar did in his rookie year.
How about Lamar? Where the hell's Lamar going to end up? That might be a conversation for another day, but Lamar needs to end somewhere.
I think he stays in Baltimore. I think Aaron comes to the Jets. I think C.J. Stroud ends up in Houston. I think the number 1 overall pick is going to be Bryce Young, but I wouldn't be surprised if C.J. Stroud ended up in Carolina. I just don't like them being an outdoor team in Carolina, small guy, coming in with offensive line issues. I think he's more suited to go indoors in Houston. I just see Carolina being more pro style with Bryce Young. Will Levis is very interesting. He's going to go, I think, in the top 15. I don't think he's going to fall.
I agree.
And I think that you might see Hendon Hooker at 29, maybe go to New Orleans. Derek Carr just signing that deal. I don't know that they want to draft a guy in the first round.
Oh, come on. Derek Carr cannot be a long-term solution.
Perfectly said, but I think you give him a chance to fall on his face next year.
Yeah, you got to.
Give you a good draft pick, or make it to the dance. And you can wait on a quarterback for another year, especially if you sign Jameis Winston as your backup.
Yeah, I like that. Well, you know what? Get your workout. I think next pay-per-view, whatever it is, whatever the next big wrestling pay-per-view is, guys, we're going to play some bets here, and it is going to be a spectacular. Hopefully then we're filling these Miami swimming pools up with money. We apologize for the helicopter on today's episode, but you know what? When the big guy's on the show, sometimes the paparazzi got to do what they got to do. So they brought out the choppers today, and Zoe, we appreciate you for it.
And I hope that everybody enjoys the air conditioning in that building you're sitting on now. Go sweat your balls off. Enjoy yourself, man.
Cheers, brother. Talk soon. And guys, don't forget, like, subscribe, comment. The man, the real one. We'll see you next time. Cheers.